All right, good morning to Carrie and Blue and Ashley, Angela, Kevin. Hope you guys are doing well. Rise and shine, right? At least we've got some sunshine to enjoy today before we cloud back up here in a matter of hours. I'm with meteorologist Brian Good, back with you again with an update on Storm Talk. We're obviously going to cover the latest on the flooding status, where we're at on some of these stages and some of the area cameras, your reports as you chime in here on the chat, as you're welcome to do so, whether it's on YouTube or on X or even Facebook and even Twitch. You have that option. All right, we'll be able to see them all. As always, not able to get to them all, but I see them all. I will tell you that. I do see them, and sometimes I mentally think I need to go back and come back around and talk to you, and I always end up forgetting because, well, I'm getting old. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to cover all the stages. We're going to cover the next system, and I saw Ashley's already been mentioning when she's been hearing about it, that'll be rolling in here for late tonight, but more so tomorrow's wave. We'll talk about that and get into a little bit of the long-term update as well here in just a couple of seconds. All right, so let's start off with the live view outside, and we'll kind of work our way back to the future part of the entire outlook. Here's the latest look, of course, the Great Lawn at Waterfront Park. The Ohio's still climbing, by the way, very slow. It's about to crest, so it's not as dramatic of a change from day to day now compared to the first 3 days. But you can still see we got grass on the other side of 64, but not right at the overpass area. That's where a lot of the vendors we usually set up for Thunder over Louisville at this point. We'd already have them out there on this day. We would see the fireworks getting ready to be loaded onto the barges and getting ready to go onto the bridge there at 2nd Street. So it's odd, right? I know we've done this before on some of these oddities on events being delayed or even canceled, but in this case, when you see it and you have nice weather outside at the same time, it really just steams even more. But hey, this is the power of Mother Nature, guys. Flooding, the weight of water rules all. And it's going to take some time to get this back down. But I'm glad that hopefully everyone's aware of what's going on. No one else can get hurt, because we already lost a few people that we don't want other families to feel the same fate and sadness from that, because that's really tough. At a very stressful time here. Okay, so here's the latest at I-65 at Lebanon Junction. I've been watching the rolling fork in that area. It got close. But if you look carefully, it has gone down a few inches anyway on the edges of the waterways there of the rolling fork in I-65. So that's a good sign. It's receding. I really think with this new interchange design they did since 97, I think that has really done wonders for them, because it looks like it was designed for what if 97 happened again. And sure enough, it actually matched very well to be able to just protect 65. Now, I don't know how long that will last down the road. You know, things do settle and sink over time, so this may need more work. But this is probably one of the bigger changes I noticed in the rolling fork in 65 was that zone there. Okay, it is on its way down. 4908 is the current level of the rolling fork near Boston. Forecasts keep going down. Should be out of flood stage. At this point, should be out of flood stage at some point Friday night. The only thing that would change that would be additional rainfall that will be moving into the area on Thursday. May have enough rain involved of it, just enough that it may hold it into at least the minor flood stage and then allow it to drop after that. I don't see enough rain coming our way that would cause it to reverse and go back up again, but it may lag a bit. It should get out of major and should get out of moderate for sure in the next 24 hours. But that rain tomorrow night may cause a slight slowing or a delay to get out of the minor flood stage. So this flood warning for that area of the rolling fork may get extended just a tad bit. We'll see what happens once we know how much rain indeed falls in that area. All right, so for the Salt River, it had its crest on, what is today, Wednesday? It had its crest Monday. So it continues its slow but steady drop. You see a slight little hiccup right there where it already is factoring in some rain from other tributaries that may feed into the salt that could cause a slight uptick. But again, nothing major on that, which is good. All right, it'll be out of the danger zone very, very soon. Kentucky River at Franklin Lock on its way down. Forecast, you see a little bit of a disjointed look there on the forecast and where the black line picks up again from, you got the measured line and then the forecast line. Notice they're disjointed a bit. Sometimes when we've seen this, indicates that it's falling slower than expected. So that could cause at least this portion of the stage where it was expected to drop off. There is a chance that we could see, sorry about that, I got all these Screen's popping up on me. All right, there we go. I'm getting promise it's not my first day. We may see the actual warning level get extended, and the level to get it out of minor flood stage may take until sometime for Thursday. But we'll watch and see how much rain falls here the next couple of days. In most cases, it'll only be those kind of minor little hiccups of slowing them down as they're going back in their banks versus a rapid drop into the banks area. The East River, East Fork of the White River, anywhere from Rivervale to Seymour in Indiana, a little different story. It tends to stay flooded a little longer compared to rivers in Kentucky. So it will stay elevated for a while. It's not overly deep. Once it gets down into at least minor flood stage, it's only just a few feet, about 6 or so. So it does drop dramatically. It's a 17 now, but it is falling and should continue to fall to get close to normal levels. May not go quite to that level. Blue River at Fredericksburg, now back within its banks and behaving. Good news there. All right, the McAlpin lower. This is for the west side of the city of Louisville, heading toward even the casino impacts. Currently at 68. Forecast to still go just a few more inches to 68.4. That is expected to happen at some point this afternoon. And then the slow drop will begin to take place. If this holds as is, the McAlpin lower will be at a flood stage at some point Saturday night into early Sunday. Any additional rain, again, as I mentioned, would just slow it down a tad bit. That's the McAlpin lower. Let me show you the McAlpin upper. This is the one that you just saw from the SkyTrack camera showing the Great Lawn, the Waterfront Park area in downtown Louisville. 36.59 forecast to stay up there for a while. It doesn't really start a decent drop to get it to at least out of minor flood until some point Saturday night or Sunday, and likely not out of flood stage until Monday before we get it back within its banks. This, again, is all based on the idea that no impactful rain between now and Saturday is going to take place as far as heavy rainfall. If we get beyond this range and heavy rainfall comes back into the picture once again, these river levels will have a much quicker react time to get back up again. Let's hope not, but the pattern does still look active after even this weekend. So we're going to be seeing these river graphics a lot, unfortunately, but you're getting a breather coming our way. If you've been impacted by the floods, whether by travel, whether by trying to get to certain resources, your family, just in generally just been cut off by this, when this recedes, especially over the weekend, early next week, based on what we're seeing as the weather pattern that will likely continue to evolve the rest of April into May, take precautions. Take that opportunity to fix whatever you need to, prepare, sandbag, whatever, to prepare for another potential that another rise could easily happen again as the spring continues. And I do think that's certainly possible. So we're getting a break to help you out. But we try to take advantage of that, right? All right, so that's it on the river stages. Before I go on, type 3 if you're good on the rivers. And if you're not, let me know what your question is. Adam, the White River itself, I'm only tracking the East Fork of it as you head from like Rivervale to about Seymour, but it is still up, and it's still, I believe, still major status, a good chunk of the White River. But it's the Wabash. There's so much flooding, it's hard to explain. Here, I'll try to draw it here on the radar. The East Fork runs generally like this and feeds right into the Wabash, which is also the border of Indiana, heading down to Evansville. That's the Wabash River, is that border that we use between Illinois and Indiana. It flows into the Wabash, and then it flows right into the Ohio River, and then that flows on down to the Mississippi and then out into the Gulf itself. So it really, the Wabash flooding here impacts much more of the Ohio River around Evansville and points south into Paducah on sending their levels really high. It doesn't really impact the Ohio as much. We always have to watch out what happens around Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, even in West Virginia. Any flooding in those areas, even if we were sunny every day, our river would still go up. So it's all about the downstream impacts, because the water wants to move. It doesn't want to stick around. It wants to get back to the ocean again to be with its family. So in order to do that, it has to take so many different routes. It will take the quickest route it can. And that's where new streams and creeks can sometimes be created. But these are relatively old rivers we've got for much of the Ohio River Valley. So we're kind of used now the flow that they take. But the East Fork of the White River, again, is a Wabash issue, not for the Ohio. So it has a little bit of a different behavioral pattern. Okay. Carrollton, Tommy, I thought we had a new one for Carrollton. I may not have put it in time. That is a good question. Let me see if I can get that for you, Tommy. Hold on one second. I know that obviously it's the Kentucky River more than anything that's caused the biggest issues for Carrollton, because that flows to the Ohio up in that area, and then that again floods us down here. The Kentucky River being way out of its banks has a big impact on what we're seeing on the Ohio River in Louisville. So you mess with the Kentucky River, you're messing with a lot of areas when that happens. Okay, I don't know if I have an individual slate for it, so let me bring up the general map for you, Tommy. Hang on, and then we'll get on to the radar here for what's coming next, because I'm sure you guys want to know what's coming our way. It's loading. It's slow, but it's loading. It's a big foul, and these fouls don't do well. All right, here we go. Let's see. I'll take you to the northern part of the Kentucky River at Lockport. 51, still at major. It looks like for your area, you'll start to see some improvements as early as tonight, but it really will be tomorrow into Friday. You'll see the most improvement of everything getting back within its normal levels there. Okay, so improvements. I hope that helps. Again, here's a look at the whole map again. You see the East Fork to the north, the Ohio River, Kentucky River, Salt, Rolling Fork, and you get down to the Green River, which those are all green, by the way. In Southern Kentucky, they're back within their banks, so they have improved dramatically down south. Okay, so what is next? Well, kind of a messy setup. We have a couple of weak systems. One's got a little bit more of a kick to it than the other. That's what we'll be watching for part of tomorrow, late tomorrow into Thursday as well. Here we go with the radar trends. Now, some of this is not reaching the ground just yet, but the clouds have certainly moved in. So we're getting a little bit of sun. We're going to cloud back up. And this is two different clippers, like we would talk about in the wintertime. There's one that's here that is diving in. It has its own little warm front, little cold front with it. And then there's another one right behind it, behind the banner that says right now. That one is very close to it, in fact, and it will also drop down right in behind our clipper for tonight and then swoop right down into Tennessee as we into Thursday. So it is basically a 1-2 punch of systems coming our way. So here's the first one that we'll be moving on by with, again, a chance for some showers across Indiana as it moves by to the north, and then maybe some heavier rain tonight. I'll show you that in hour by hour. Here is the severe risk with the Storm Prediction Center. They have a slight risk out for Paducah, Arkansas, into Tennessee, a marginal for us. And you may be thinking, okay, well, what's the deal? Is this going to be upgraded to a slight? Is this going to go to an enhanced? Could we see another high risk? I know where your minds go. This has got limits to it because, again, these are clippers. So why they have severe weather involved with them, a couple reasons. One, you do have the battle of warm air, 70s to the south, and you've got some relatively cold airs you guys have been feeling lately, right? So these two are interacting together as a hybrid type setup of warm features to it for thunderstorms and a lot of colder features too, with general chilly rain mixed in. So your severe potential on this is really going to be focused on that second piece on Thursday and along and south of its track. That's the main concern on severe with Thursday itself. It extends into our area because it is a broad circulation. So because of that, you can still end up with anywhere from Carrollton and Madison all the way through Louisville down to Jackson, Mississippi. Could still feel the impacts of at least some showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms and that whole rotating blah, but you don't want to be near the track or to the southeast of it. That's where you run into a little more your severe potential and any tornado potential. And that's where folks, unfortunately, into areas here of Tennessee and Alabama, that's where they're going to find themselves at. So we're not worried about a tornado outbreak here or anything like that. It's just a minimal severe potential that'll be dropping into the area. You can break this down even more by looking at the tornado potential. Notice it's barely even showing up, but it is there right in the path of the core of the spin of the low. Your damage and wind potential, and this will be in pockets of thunderstorms that are likely collapsing or weakening, typical almost like in the summertime, but there will be some downdrafts that could produce some strong winds. This will be more in the range of 50 to maybe 60. I do not see hurricane force winds and Boeing segments, nothing like that. This system doesn't have that much wind energy to work with, but there could be some that could get close to the threshold where a warning could get triggered. Yes, that's possible. And I don't want to discount that, by the way, on the wind side, just because the ground is so saturated, the trees have leafed out. So now that even a 50-mile-per-hour wind coming through could cause a tree to topple over, especially if it's already leaning a bit from the heavy rain and flooding. If you have a tree like that in your yard, especially if you've had flooding with it, watch it carefully because it's got a root system, right? But the roots are liquefied basically under there right now. So they don't have much to grab onto. So even a 50 mile per hour wind, which may not cause a lot of alarm because it won't be severe, could still cause some wind damage. So this is something we can't see. You can see because you can look out your window and tell where the problems are on trees on your property. That's what I'm asking you all to do, is just pay attention to your property and your trees and know which ones you need to monitor in case some of those stronger wind gusts hit some of those trees the next couple of days. Your hail potential is there. I think this could be one of those setups that has a lot of pea-size hail with it, not so much golf ball size and ping pong size hail. But I think a lot of pea, maybe dime size reports of hail certainly can take place with this kind of a setup. So let's walk through it hour by hour. Here is future cast showing the warm front portion passes on by. It is in Cincinnati. By the time we get to 3 o'clock this afternoon, notice as it scooted by, it didn't really give much of you any rain at all. And that will likely be the case. If you're north of Louisville, your chance to get a few showers the next few hours is there. Everywhere else, staying dry. We get into tonight. Now we deal with the actual, this is 2 low pressures. Remember, here's the cold front portion of, I always try to get rid of my drawings, and they just won't go away sometimes. All right, here's the cold front portion of that boundary. It'll scoop in, but this will be happening when you're asleep tonight. But don't worry, this is not a severe setup tonight. This is just a wave of showers. Again, it could have some small hail with them. Wouldn't be surprised. Otherwise, you'll just hear the rain in the morning while you're trying to sleep or let the dog out in the middle of the night as that little wave passes by. Okay, minor issue. We can handle that. That's going to be a few hundredths, maybe a tenth or so of an inch of rain. It's fairly progressive. That's good. We get a break. We end up with a lot of sun for a while tomorrow after that morning batch moves out. And look, now we've added fuel in the atmosphere. Here's your cape. Now, again, it's not gold. It's red. Anytime you get the gold color, that means you got a lot of fuel. If you got red, that's basically the bare minimum. So it has enough that we have to at least mention that thunderstorms will come into play. You can get lightning and thunder now. And the low itself is going to be way back here, I would say close to St. Louis, but diving toward Nashville. So we're on the northern side of it. As it does so, it will try to create a few boundaries of storms as we didn't do Thursday afternoon into the evening. This will also be a very typical bumper cars type of setup. They'll kind of be bouncing around all over the place. So timing and locations, we need more time to work on that. But some will have pockets of moderate to heavy rain. Some will have some small hail and some gusty winds. But this is not a severe weather outbreak scenario. But still, I don't want to say it's nothing because it's still going to be enough to impact some of you being out as you're traveling. And it could still be enough to trigger maybe 1 or 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. That is possible. I just don't want you guys to be overly alarmed if those alerts come out tomorrow thinking something really bad is happening or the world's coming to an end or we're back to last weekend kind of scenario. I don't want you guys to worry on that sense. I think our biggest concern here as meteorologists especially is we've got to figure out rainfall amounts and monitor that. And I'm seeing a few of these thunderstorms trying to spike amounts up to about a half inch. That's okay. We can handle a half inch. If we exceed a half inch, you get 1 inch rain totals in the area. We're going to be right back into a scenario of flash flood warnings and at least some impacts on the rivers. Even if it is temporary on these showers, not going to linger all night, that spike of thunderstorms could cause a few minor problems. But we need to know where they're going to pop, and it's too early yet. Once we get a better handle on which river basins they will form over, that'll let us know if it's a river basin that can handle it or if it's a basin that cannot. And we'll communicate that to you all so you get a big heads up on that. So stay close to us. We're watching it. This will eventually wind up to low pressure heading eastbound as we head into Friday. Some cold weather on the backside of this too. Chilly air for at least a day or two in the mornings especially, but Friday does not look to be overly warm right now. Even though we may get some sun, especially west of 65, it may be a slow process. And then we'll try to improve things toward the upcoming weekend. Saturday and Sunday right now don't look bad. Saturday will be the cooler day over Sunday. Sunday will be well into the 60s, even some 70s. Monday, I think, will be probably in the 80s the way it's looking now. And then we have a very wacky setup for the middle of next week, about a week from today, that I'm watching as another front moves into the area about Monday and Tuesday and tries to do a similar setup where it wants to get a boundary stuck somewhere near Tennessee or Kentucky. Now, this is showing up in some of the model data and some of it it's not, but it is a pattern you don't want to see even hinted on a model, because if this were to lock in, this would mean round after round after round of thunderstorms. As of now, and I'm going with kind of the Euro idea on this, is that, yes, it does temporarily try to lock in about, say, late Monday through Wednesday next week, but then it gets a shakeup and moves it out of the way. And we end up with another trough, actually, toward Easter weekend before we deal with thunderstorms at some point over the Easter holiday. Right now, we're thinking it's going to be probably Good Friday would be thunderstorms, and then hopefully quieter for Easter. There you go. That was a lot of rambling today. Silly request, but can you draw a turtle? I don't know if I can draw a turtle. I mean, I guess I can. I mean, looking from above, right? All right, I'm drawing kind of hairy at this point. All right, there's the turtle. There's a little tail. There's the legs. Oops, I don't know what I did there. It's supposed to be his hand, but my mouse shook on the table here. Okay. Yeah, yep. And it's got little markings on the shell, little markings on the shell. I don't know. He looks like a hamburger from White Castle at this point. But anyway, you get the idea. I tried. Hope you made you happy, eh? Warmer or colder in the days ahead? Any more snow? We're going to discuss snow. If not tomorrow, we may by the end of the week. There's a reason for it. I will come back around, but I'm not ignoring the snow discussion of blogs. Just hang tight. Reminder, Thursday is tomorrow. What did I say? Did I not say Thursday? Sorry, I was out yesterday, so Chris, got to apologize. If I said something wrong, you guys know the date. Don't listen to me. This is my third Monday in my head. Okay. All right. Everyone seems all right. Yeah, the rainfall amounts, again, there's a lot of little minor things. They're all minor stuff the next few days, guys. We really just got to keep an eye on rainfall totals, where they fall in which basin, and any minor severe weather warnings that could get issued for any hail potential or getting into a few gusty winds. But I got to stress, this is not a repeat of what we just went through. This is just a typical low pressure in April that would give us some showers and a few rumbles of thunder anyway. So it's just moving into town or coming for a visit at a very bad time. We should have just put up a sign and told not to come. Closed. But anyway, it is moving in, so we'll watch that. Weekend looks good. You see there. I don't have any quirks right now on the weekend side of things. But Monday looks warm. We got a couple of thunderstorm chances there, but that's the beginning of that front getting stuck in the area. So you may see storm chances go up or rain chances go up, and temps may go down a bit for early next week. That will play a role into Good Friday and eventually Easter weekend. But at least the next few days, no big system, just a lot of little annoyances coming through here with some spotty showers and a few rumbles of thunder. All right. I know it gets confusing when you break it down. There's a lot of specifics like that, but after going through big events, this is what we do. We look at everything now, like a microscope, looking down into the river. We're examining everything to see if there's any sign of a big change that we could miss. And we are doing that, so you don't have to, and we are not seeing anything alarming right now. So I hope that somewhat helps. All right. Got to run. Appreciate y'all. See y'all on the flip side.